Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky 194, and appreciate you taking the time out of your day to stop in and visit and check out my video. And we're going to try to attempt to do something a little different today. I hope you all enjoy it. I'm going to kind of combine this race here, just the highlights of this race, and then we're going to go and see if we can fix the car. And we're going to do some setup work on the Huracan and see if we can try to make it better. Um, so again, these are just things that how I do it. I'm not saying it's the right way or the only way. It's just how I do it. I've kind of had to be baptized by fire as far as learning from, you know, the ground up pretty much. So, and some things, of course, are not maybe real world type that would work, but they just work in ACC. So again, there's just a lot of things, a lot of variables, and again, what you do with this car, some things will help with all cars, and some things are only particular to the Huracan. So again, it's only every car in ACC is different, and that's the struggle. That's the tough part because you're constantly trying, to learn each car, and the more you can learn each car of what it likes, doesn't like, its particulars, the better you'll be with it. And that's why, you probably hear a lot of times a lot of people talk about, sticking with one car or something like that. And that's really good advice, especially at the start. I unfortunately just have not done that, which has probably hurt me in the long run. But I love. There's all these cars. I just love all of them. So I like messing with them and just the challenge of trying to figure them out. So of course, there's more than certain cars, as you can see on my channel, I like more than others just because they fit my driving style, or I just like them, for whatever reason. But so I spend a little bit more time in them. But again, there is no silver bullet. There is no quick solution to setups or tuning it from scratch or tuning it even after like here where it's mostly there, but it's still missing a few key areas. So again, there's no this is the only way to do it is to go test it. I mean, that's the only way I know how to do it. I mean, obviously, you can look at Motec and things like that, but still, there's only so much you can do, and a lot of times, especially, I like the car to feel a certain way, and then on top of it, when it's a race setup, I mean, I'm looking for consistency. I'm not looking for one great lap or two great laps, and then the car falls off a cliff. So, again, there's so many different variables. So again, I mean, I hope we can fix the car and make it a little better, and we can also have some fun in the process. But again, just kind of showing you what it started off with. Of course, we got Colin in the house, got Fallen. Again, this is a U.S. competition server. LF is in here, and Driscoll's in here too. There's a few guys that I recognize, but but it's a pretty good sized field. There was only one server, so at least it was a pretty full field. What was it? Was it 23 drivers? So again, I'm just going to show the highlights of this and some of the issues that was happening with the car because it pertains to what we got to do to try to fix the car. I'm going to try to keep this video, I mean, obviously I don't know how long it's going to run, but I'm going to try to keep it no more than an hour, including with this. So, hopefully we can get it fixed pretty quickly and get the car to where it's decent. And then, of course, I can share the setup. We'll share the setup at the end if it's where it needs to be. But I qualified at a 158.7, which isn't a bad time for me. With the Huracan, I mean, my best is a 158.6 in the Huracan, so a 158.7 isn't that far off. And like I said, I'm outside pole, but it really dramatically changed during the race. Especially there was a pit stop, so thank goodness. But we're gonna get ready to start here, and of course, I was just kind of leading up to this, talking about what this video is going to be about. I know I get a lot of requests, which I plan to do some more this week and see how the reaction is. So please, your feedback and comments are critical. I do look at as many as I can and respond. But I'm going to try to go through some setups and on different cars, since, like I said, they take different solutions, and we're going to go over some setups. And I haven't done that in a while, and I get a few people that want to, especially just basic stuff. But there's the start of the race, and I got a decent start, but it wasn't that good because the pack pretty much overwhelmed me, and I was pretty decent right here, and then the McLaren hits me right here. Boom. I thought it was a great save, though. I mean, wow. I mean, I was mega sideways and still saved it and got going again, but I lost a few more positions. LF is right there in front of me now with the Lexus. But what's really I take from this is when you have some really big slides like this, it just absolutely destroys the tires. So, and then he gets taken out, unfortunately, right here. You see the Bentley just goes right through. He takes LF right out, but he comes back. But he, took him out of the hunt from up there, so that was a shame. And again, the car is just, I'm still kind of feeling it, and I did and I'm going to show what I made adjustment before the race, because it's the only thing I did before the race. I just made a few clicks adjustment on a very minor thing, and it's still crazy that it affected the car. But I think it affected the car, but what happened was, with me sliding the car in the rear, it just destroyed the rear tires. And an accident behind us right there. And it made the car feel completely different. One problem that we have to look at is turn one. Turn one was absolutely horrendous for me. We've got to be able to get through that corner and be able to get through it and efficiently. Let's just put it that way. I mean, I was getting through it, and that's another thing I didn't show it. The yellow flag was the whole race. That was irritating. But I go through here, and this time I go way off, so I got a track limits on that one. Which I was like, well, okay, that's the first lap. My tires are still coming up. It's no big deal, but I didn't know it's going to be just doing the same thing. I had to completely change my driving so I wouldn't do that anymore. But I'm not able to go through turn one like I need to, and if I do, I'm either going to lose it or I run wide and run out. So it's just not there. So I was a little disappointed because I thought maybe I could get going and start making up some ground, but I couldn't. The car just wasn't letting me. So the performance just was not there. And like I said, that's one thing. That's why, you don't want damage. I did have a little bit of damage, which that wasn't, I think it was a combination of things, because after I made the pit stop and I did fix the damage, the car was better. But it definitely, wasn't the only thing. Again, you start sliding the car around, it makes it to where you just destroy whatever tires you're sliding. And then the next thing you know, you got no grip there. You just basically rip the tires apart. I almost hit the BMW here. It was really close. I mean, I was going in there really good, and a lot of times, I'm tripping over them because I feel like I could go a little faster, but then I would lose it in turn one. I mean, turn one was I was losing a lot of time. The car was understeering through there, and then it would slide. I would get an oversteering. You go through here, and again, I ran wide and got another track limit. So now I got 2 track limits in like 2 laps. So I was like, and you see my times, they're nothing great. I mean, they're 2.0s, which is, and then here I'm running off in the dirt. Now I know I got a problem because I know that the car is not feeling like it did. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on, what I can do to try to help it. Got a drag race with the Porsche, which luckily I win down here at the end of the straightaway. But, you know, still I knew I was in trouble because the car just wasn't feeling the way it wasn't planted at all, and the rear end was way too slidey. And I wasn't driving the best either, so that's another thing. You know, I was making some driving errors, and then I was getting frustrated, and that just compounded the problem because I thought I could be up in the front fighting up front, and here I am, you know, just dropping positions. I'm going the wrong way. So this was a problem area too, which usually isn't, so that's another issue that we have to look at. That was another problem, which I had to change my driving style again to fix that. So again, there's things you have to do on the fly that you have to change because obviously whatever you got is what you got. So, I mean, see, you can see there, I almost lose it there. I mean, it's just all the time. Is this the one? Yeah, now look at, let's see how sideways, now see the other car, I had to catch it again. And this time, this is where he passes me because I just almost lost it. Now I just slid the car again, so that just, now my rear tires are over pressured, and they're, especially the left rear is running hot. So that's another problem. So now I'm like, well, you know, the only way you can combat that is, so I take some of the rear brake out, which I do that sometime soon, and I also put the TC another click up. So now I'm trying to save my rear tires from any more destruction because they're just, you can see me counter steering. You can see the car is constantly counter steering, trying to catch the car. You know, on the faster corners, you know. And through here it was understeering through here also. So I'm understeering through here. And then here the car was wanting to slide going in here. It was not turning the way I wanted to turn. Again, understeering. So, you know, we had an understeer issue, but then I had a lot of oversteer through the corner. So, you know, understeer entering the corner and basically oversteer middle and off. Of course, I always have some issues in this corner, but I mean, I think I was doing a little better through there this time, but see, now look at it. Look at that. Another major slide. So that's like how many slides I've done, you know, and I just keep losing ground, and the back tires are just trashed. And you can see I put the TC up to 4. So I try to do that to try to save the tires. And then here a little bit, I also move the my brake bias up to 55. So again, I'm trying to make adjustments that I can make to try to get the car to calm down in the back end and not destroy any more tires. So let's go ahead and we're going to go do the pit stop so we can get fast forward. Okay, so now we made the pit stop. We've come out. Now I'm back ahead of him again. I made a good pit stop, got back ahead of that Porsche Sparrow. I'm just going to show a couple more laps. I just want to show this one because this was my best lap. Now again, I came in, fixed the damage, and of course now I got fresh tires. So, you know, again, it makes a big difference. Still not where I want it to be, but the car did feel better. Speeds 156, 157. That's not bad. I mean, that's not terrible. I mean, I think that's pretty good. But again, I look at not just, you know, speed's not that big a deal. I'd gladly sacrifice speed for better handling and better overall lap times for sure. Just like the Porsche. I mean, you know, you're always down on the Porsche with speed everywhere, but you can still do good lap times. Of course, it's more, you know, usually it's a lot worse. But again, trying to find a balance between, you know, the speed down the straightaway and braking and handling and tire wear. There's so many variables that you're trying to accomplish to get where you want to be. You can see the car just, it definitely is a lot more steady than it was. And again, I'm a little bit of counter steering there, a little bit of trying to catch it. See, they did this yellow flag thing the whole race, which is kind of irritating. See, now I think they'll go down to third now instead of fourth. I ran a 159.24, and that actually at that time was the fastest lap of the race. So, which surprised me, but that was, you know, it didn't last. It didn't end up being that way, but up to that point it was. But again, run off the track a little bit here and there. But now, you know, I feel a lot better, but I've had to change my driving style. And we'll go do the last lap. Now you see I've moved back up to third. I got ahead of Kreska and, of course, the other guy must have wrecked. I don't remember, but Driscoll's up there. LF has fought his way back to fifth, so good call. You know, call out to Driscoll to LF because I mean, you know, he had to start basically from the back after getting wrecked. But see, I go in here down into third and then go up to fourth instead of going through there in fourth. There's second place right in front of me. Fallen's right there in the Porsche right there. So, I mean, I've made up a lot of ground, some of it through the pits and some of it through just running consistently on the track, decent. Not where it needs to be, but just running, you know, better. But by now, my tires are pretty much getting worn out again, and I'm just trying to hang on and just run decent times. But, you know, I made up some ground, but Fallen started running. We were pretty much, you know, running near the same times. And he was running really good, too. One thing I wanted to show you is coming up here. To this one section, I had to change the way I usually went in there because the car just didn't like it. Again, it just slid. But yeah, back there where I came in, go back a little bit. This one corner up here, I used to go in second, but now right here, I had to go down to first. So right here, I used to go right through second, but then I went down to first, and then went up to second for a second, and come back down to first. I mean, I just did that because the car was not steady. It just didn't seem, it just wanted to slide and things like that, and it did not want to go through there smoothly. So again, things that I didn't like. I don't like that, but that's the way the car was reacting. So you know, again, I had to change a little bit of my driving to what the car wanted. Again, you know, not super happy with the pace. It was just, you know, I should have been better than that. I don't know what the last lap was. Probably not that great. Yeah, 1:59.9. So yeah, you know, like I said, I was pretty shot by then. So again, let's go back out to the track. So I finished third. You know, for the start, I guess that's, you know, a good finish. I really wanted to be mixing it up with the, you know, front two guys, but you know, I just got so far behind in the beginning of the race, and then my, you know, my performance wasn't where it needed to be. So that's about what I wanted as far as that. That was about 15-20 minutes. So now let's go out to the track. And again, you know, a lot of, like, especially these videos, you know, I know I don't live stream. I'd like to, but just, you know, trying to get all that organized and do it. I don't know how good I would be at it. I try to do these pretty raw. That's why they're not really polished videos. So it's kind of a semi-live stream. You know, if I really mess up or something, or I might redo a video here or there, but it's kind of, you know, I do something that's not good or whatever, y'all see it. So I try to be upfront with all that and just kind of show what really happens and not, you know, edited type of stuff. So again, you know, that's one reason why I kind of went this way, because the highlights, the yellow flags in turn one was every single lap. That was really kind of irritating. So I don't know what was going on with that, even though there was no car there. And there were some cars in the pits that were sitting there in the pits. I don't know if that was triggering it, but it was irritating. So that's another reason I didn't show the race. Plus, I wanted to do something a little different this way. So let's get to the setup. So here's the setup. Now, okay. So let's go. Let's see, I think it was this one. Yeah. Now you saw this was the exact setup that I used during that race. Okay. So this was exactly what I used. Now you can see what the negative camber is, but this is the only thing I adjusted before from qualifying to the race. I went from a 0.12 to a 0.15 on the rear toe. That's it. That's all I did. And I thought maybe it'd give me a little bit more linear as far as rotation, just a teeny bit. I didn't want, but instead, I think it helped more on just the car sliding. And I still had understeer, and the wing was 8, so that's another thing that hurt me. And I don't remember. I think I had that in qualifying too. I think the wing was 8, if I remember right, or it might have been 7. But again, we got to find a better balance through turn one. We got to get this car to rotate a little better. So that's going to be the key, but not slide. Of course, the shocks, you know, I've worked on through Motec, which we'll check here and there to see if it's changed. But it probably isn't going to be that drastic. Other than that, you can see it's 190,000 on the front, 164 on the rear. Let's see. We got tires. Let me load the other one because it's more to my temperatures. Yeah, 25.8 and 24.8. So let's try that. Let's go back to the other, so we can just go off of that setup. So I had this at 24.8, and this is at 25.8. Okay. So that way we can just work on this setup, and then once we can get it, if we can get it fixed, we're good. So there's a few things I want to try. You can see this is actually the last setup, last numbers from the race, it looks like. So the tire pressures were You know, 28 in the front, 27.8 in the rear, which isn't too bad. You can see that the spread is 3 degrees all the way. Oh, that's only 2 there, but 3 there. That's another thing. I want to try to tighten them up even a little more to see if it helps or if it's worse. Because this is what happens as the race goes. Usually the spread will widen a lot of times, and what that does is, if you notice when you're driving the car, you know, in the beginning, it's, you know, the car just reacts. You know, you turn the wheel and the car reacts, and then later on in the race, let's say the last part of the race, it takes more steering to get the car to react, and that's basically what's happening. Is the spread of the wear is getting wider and wider. So I want to try to get that a little tighter and see if it hurts or helps. It might hurt. So I mean, we don't know. But again, I also want to get the car to rotate a little bit more. So there's some things I want to try. I hope it works. Now, again, this was the big thing that I did here was this toe. So the first thing we're going to do is put this back just to 0.1. That's the first thing we're going to do. So right now we're just going to concentrate on this, and we're going to adjust the negative camber a little bit. So we're just going to adjust the negative camber a little bit, and so we basically went down 1 on everything except this right rear, because 2 is where I want to go. I'm going to see if I can go down to 2 degrees, not degrees, but yeah, 2 degrees. Yeah, 2 degrees separated from the inner to the outer, and see if that. I tried it earlier on another car and it was fine, and it felt really good, but I don't know if it'll try it on this car. Again, I'm always jumping from one car to another. I've already driven, I don't know, 3 or 4 different cars today already, and I'm doing this video in the morning, so sometimes it takes a little while to get my brain wrapped around which car I'm in. Other than that, we'll leave everything else alone from the setup, just to do a few laps. Again, what I would try to do is do a few laps, and then come in and then make adjustments, go back out and do a few more laps. So I don't want to do any real long runs. I just want to do a few laps. Put this on 1. Now we do have a heavy fuel load, so that's another thing we got to check. But again, I'll leave it there for now. And I can always check later on what I usually do by doing a pit stop and going in here and putting like going like 40, 41 or 42 liters. And you see that changes. That's the same, but that went up 1, I think. Yeah, see that? The rear came up 1. So we can check that later. But right now, I want to check it the way it is with the heavy fuel load. So again, because that's where I gave me the fits in the beginning. So let's try this out, and again we can just save it to this. And my custom livery car, I call it my Huracan because it was a custom livery done for me. I didn't do it, but
green light, give it all you can.
Now, again, I try to keep all my stuff similar. Just checking my wheel, which that's another thing. I just downloaded the new drivers for Fanatec. I think it's 447 or something. It seems pretty good. So I updated my firmware. All the firmware has been updated, and the new drivers for that. So again, if you have Fanatec stuff, you might want to check that out. I kind of like it a little better than what I had, which I just did that this morning. So it feels a little. I think it feels better. It feels like the range of the force feedback is better. Wait a minute. Let me go back and. that. Forgot. I got a setting just for the Huracan, so on my wheel. So I got, you know, I usually my most favorite cars, I have a setting on my wheel that I can just go right to that, and that's, you know, set up for it right off the bat. And then I have a setup for all, you know, that I have for all the other cars that are miscellaneous. You know, I just set up as I'm using it. So that's how I do it with mine. It's better already right through there, just because that toe in the rear. So again, we're going to just do a few laps. I'm going to mess up this out lap by just getting my stuff adjusted. Again, you know, I just do this because I really enjoy, I kind of, you know, feel like I'm talking to all my friends, and so if I could ever get it figured out and doing some live streams, I would love to do it. I don't know how good I'd be at it, but I usually go through there in fourth like that, which I tried to do, but I couldn't if you're going through there so slow. Now all we adjusted was the camber and the toe on the rear. We haven't made any other balance adjustments, basically just alignment. Well, it does feel a little better as far as just the steering. Running a little wide. First laps I've run here today in anything, so again, just getting my brain back going again here at Silverstone. Still understeering a little bit, but it feels a little better through there. And set up a little bit. I have to make some tire adjustments as far as the temps or the pressures, I mean. A little understeer through there. sides look pretty good. Right sides might need an adjustment. One more lap.
Well done, mate. You're still best.
Time I took it third. Didn't gain anything. So the right sides need to come up a little bit. Left sides even are down a little bit. Coming off the corner good. And now they've come back up. So it's just the right sides, really. Yeah, a little slide. Yeah, near the same time. Gotta love the sound of this Huracan. Probably one reason I just enjoy driving it all the time. Not all the time, but a lot. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got. Still got three, and 3. So it's still 3, 3, 3. So again, still the spread is about the same. And that's even with me tightening it up a little bit. Here we're going to make an adjustment, just one click up. I'll go one click up there too. Hopefully it won't go over, but so we'll just do 1.1 up. So again, my temperatures are always in the mid 20s. You know, sometimes it's 22, but I try to keep it 23 to 25 or 23 to 26, somewhere in that range. Let's look at the wear. You know, good wear for the beginning. Only did a few laps, but you look at again, it's got the right. And this left front takes a beating, and it still is wearing less than the rear. So that's a good sign. Here is the same. So actually, the wear to me is really good. So I mean, again, you know, these springs can't be too bad. But again, you get some of that sliding going on, which I don't like. So let's, and it's not rotating. You know, we're getting understeer, which is, you know, I don't like either. So let's take one click of the wing out. So let's take a click of the wing out. That'll help with some of the faster corners as far as the understeer. Hopefully that will help it a little bit. Let's see. And then from there, I'll leave this the same for now, but I might want to try something here later. It does feel better than it did as far as uh, you're turning and it's reacting. So I like that. But I want to try one thing. I want to try one stiffer spring in the rear. Now, what does that do? That when you stiffen the rear, it's going to make the car rotate in a different way, a little bit different, because what you're doing is you're pushing the weight towards the front of the car. So basically what you're trying to do, especially in the slower corners, things like that, it's going to help rotate the car and, get it to turn. So again, hopefully it will, have the grip and be able to rotate the car in a better way. And that's on all corners, but you really notice a lot of differences on that with the slower corners. So other than that, I'll probably leave everything alone. Again, I don't want to make too many changes. But again, with me, I do make more changes probably than a lot of people just because of time. I mean, I wish I could sit there and just do one click here, one click there. But, it's time and energy. I mean, you end up getting tired doing, working on these for hours. And then on top of that, wanting to do some races and things like that. And you end up just, you get to the race, whether it's an LFM or a competition server. And this is just me personally. I end up being gassed. I mean, I'm beat. I mean, I'm tired. And then I don't drive well. So, you got to kind of manage everything. So sometimes you just got to take chances and do a couple multiple adjustments and see how it reacts. So let's try that. Let's get back on a fresh set. So I want to compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. Okay. So we made a few just very minor tire pressure issues. And made a spring spring change in the back and a wing change. So pretty good adjustments. Turn up the TC up to 4 just to see how that is, just for a lap or so, and then we'll go back down to 3, just try some different things. Difference a lot of times too, with the spring in the rear on the Huracan is the fuel's back there. The fuel's right there in front of the rear axle. So the weight's mostly on the rear end of the car. That's why when you start losing fuel, the back end comes up. The front doesn't change that much. Real bad. Tires are still cool, not up to pressures yet. So, whoa, see, that's no good. Whoa. Okay, so it's really slidey. go around, try to do it again. Sometimes this stuff works, and sometimes it doesn't. So, I mean, that's why you gotta just, it takes, even this can take a while sometimes. I mean, I'm gonna limit it in this video, but, you know, doing especially a setup that's raw, that's, you know, a car I don't have a lot of data on, or driving time, you know, driving time and things like that, it can take, you know, hours and hours. So, lots of driving. Let's try this again. The understeer, a lot of it's gone. I mean, it's got some there still, but it's not as bad. You got to be careful through there. Definitely gain some time. A lot harder to control, though. I've already lost all my time. See, it's just the back end is getting looser and looser. Tire pressures are going up because the car's sliding more. Go to 3, do a lap in that. Doing good on the first half of the track, but they were tanking it on the last half. Lost a lot of time there. Yes, it's not hooked up.
Still the best.
Yeah, I mean it's better, but not by much. I don't like the way. I mean, it's doesn't feel planted. So you only got 2 now. That's 3. That's 3, and that's 3. So let's look at the wear. I got light graining all the way around. That's probably from sliding the car. Probably did that. Wear's not too bad, but I don't want light graining all the way around. But again, I probably did that when we had that big slide. So again, it's not right. One, the performance needs to be better, and 2, the rear end is just too nervous. And I can't even push as hard as I want to push because the rear end is jumping all over the place. Let's take a look at Motec. Bring the scale down. It's a little better. So, see, it's 48.9, so it's 49 something. Could come down a little just because of this. That's 50.4. That's 48. That's 49.1. And that's 50.9. Again, a little off there. This is 48. 49.1 again, not terrible. 49. 50.8 or something like that. 49.1 and 50.9. So they're all about the same. They're all 49 somethings on the rebound and 50 point somethings on the bump. So again, off a little bit, but I can. Not much more I can go really with these, but we'll try it and see. Again, just a small adjustment. Rebound I'll leave alone because it's not that bad. So we just made some small adjustment on the bump. So nothing major though. So again, this is where I run into problems because, if the back end's sliding around and you get some understeer, that's not good. So there's multiple things that we can do. Let's go back and put a wing back in the car. So let's try to do that. So we're going to put the wing back in the car. We're going to leave the springs alone here. I might have to take a look at that last lap and see what it looks like because I might want to do that. I do that too. I look at the video to see what the attitude of the car is. I don't want to mess with adjust these here right now because I'd rather get the car, that's more fine tuning. I'd rather get the balance right. Right now the balance is still not where it needs to be. So I'm not going to mess with any of the alignment type issues. We're still trying to figure out how to get this thing to rotate and not understeer and then slide too. So that's what we're trying to accomplish here. let's take this. I'm going to take a little bit of diff out, just one click. Again, that's the thing here is one or two clicks here and almost everything can be a big difference. So that's what you can get so out of kilter and get lost so fast because one or two clicks is about all you want to do with anything unless you're really sure you're way out because it just everything can make such a difference. So basically take some of this, just one click of diff out. Maybe that'll help with some of the mid-corner understeer because that's what that does. If you get too much diff, what happens is the rear end's locking up middle of the corner and it's making the car want to understeer. So and then you have to compensate for that, and then you get some oversteer issues too. And that's when you get the sliding and things like that. So again, that can be an issue, but you don't want the car to be coming out the corner and it just spinning one tire or oversteer you off the corner because the one tire, they're both not gripping. So that's the opposite of that. So again, you're trying to find that balance between it. Usually the Huracan, it depends on the track, but I mean, you can run this all the way up to 100 or 120 or whatever. Usually is, the range is probably between 50, 60 all the way to 120. So I mean, that's most of the time. That's it could be anywhere in there. A lot of it depends on the track conditions, all kinds of stuff. So here, with the bump stop rates, they can affect the car also, as far as how bad it as far as taking the bumps. So you got to be careful of that, and also sometimes with the bump stop range, if it's too tight on the rear, it will give you some oversteer on the coming off the corners. So you got to watch that also. So I don't really think I have that. It mostly wants to slide middle and off, which could contribute, but it could I'd rather look at other things first. But again, the car is not wanting to rotate and be steady and rotate the way I want it to. It's the rate of rotation is what you're trying to accomplish. Speed, as far as straightaway and stuff, is really, I look at it just to judge it, but it's really not the most important thing. I mean, again, I just go off of what the car feels and is doing. And a lot of it's just trial and error. You got to do this adjustment and try that, and do this adjustment and then try that. But we added spring rate, so that definitely helps. And we changed the diff. Let's tighten this down a little and see if we can get the car coming off the corners a little bit stronger. So let's try that. So what did we change? Well, we put the spring back up, or spring, the wing back up one click, and we tightened up the bump stop rate, and we made it one click on the diff. So let's try that. Again, small adjustments. I mean, it's not, again, you're trying to find a balance and not go over. I mean, I'm trying to try not to slide the car, when you're on your out lap or first lap. I try not to slide it that much because you just end up destroying the tires. one thing I noticed that I don't like about the Huracan, which I'm sure the new EVO will have, is the TC's not that good. So one thing I like about the Audi EVO 2 is it's got so much better traction control than this Huracan does. So I'm hoping, of course, they'll be implementing something like that in the new Huracan. It's very, you can't just rely on it and just, turn it up or this or that and it works good for you. It's either too much or not enough. Of course, it only has a TC1. It doesn't have both, and that's what it really needs, like the Audi. Not too bad. Slide. Well, that's helping. Right through there. Guarantee that's the diff. Turn. No, went too hot. That was my fault. I went in there really hot. Okay, well, it's the right direction. So that's the right way, because and what it is any of those S's that you're going through, and then of course that one section where you do the hard left and then the double right. I mean, that's where the diff makes a big difference, because you don't want it to be locked up. So we'll go down one more. So we'll go down one more click and see how that works. It still feels like it's sliding too much, so I think we're gonna. This didn't help. If anything, we'll go back the other way. So we'll go the other direction. Of course, I'm not even gonna worry about tires, because me sliding like that, it's gonna make it worse. So this really isn't too bad. If we could just get some more of that slide out. I'll go ahead and we're going to go do this now and see how that reacts. I'm going to take some more of this out. There we go. So again, tightening it up some more to see if that does anything, and taking some more rear toe out to keep the back end from sliding. So let's try it. And then of course we took one more click out of the diff and adjusted the bump stop range. But still, the balance here is the same. We haven't changed. The ride heights they're still good. I mean, quarter end Ride height, this affects, the rear ride height affects a lot is corner entry. That's really a lot how it affects. Of course, you have to adjust accordingly. If you're hitting a lot of things, bottoming out, then you might have to adjust this and this. I could go down one more in the front. That would give me more front end grip. And I could lower this down one. We could try that. I don't know what the front end will hit though, but again, that's another thing you can get. You can run more wing if you can keep the car lower. The lower you can keep it, the better the speed will be, even if you have more wing. So let's say I want to run a 4 wing or something, right? Well, then I got to raise this up to compensate for it. So to be honest, speed-wise, it doesn't really make much difference because you're losing a lot of your aero because you got to raise the car so high to get the car to be able to handle, even though it looks good because you don't have much wing, but you're defeating the purpose. And of course, then once you lose fuel, it's even higher. The rear and front and rear is even higher, and the higher you get, the less the splitter works, the less the diffuser works in the back. Everything, the higher the car is, the most. But of course, you don't want to be hitting things. It's if you're too low and the car's sparking and banging and unloading when you run over curbs or then you're just defeating the purpose. So again, it's finding the balance. It's finding the in between where it doesn't bottom out, it doesn't unload the car by hitting. Now, if it hits a little, okay, but if it hits so hard that you unload the car, then that's no good. So again, it's finding that happy medium. So what we made some pretty good adjustments here. Let's just try it and see how it works. I do this all the time, just trying to whoa. Definitely don't want to hit those big sausages. Curious of what it's going to do. Worse, better or worse. I felt better. Yeah, that did. That was bad. Okay, so let's go back to the pits. Let's do this. I think that was more driver than anything else. So let's go do this. We're going to go do a test run. not a test run, but let's see what it does with less fuel, like a pit stop sort of thing. So see, this hasn't even moved. That has not even moved. Nothing. Now it went up 1. So once you get down to the very bottom, it comes up 1. Huh. So again, that's let's put this back up. I'm gonna put that back up, and let's raise this 1. So now what you're gonna do is that's gonna go up to 65, and that's gonna go to 56 once you're low on fuel. So let's see if this works as far as doing a pit stop run. You know, making a pit stop. Everything else seems, and we'll check. We can always put this back here. So once we get done with this, we'll do a few laps and see if this works and see if this will be it. Because I know I'm running a little long. Well, it seems that's about constant with me. Stuff always. My wife says that all the time. Yep. Do a setup and it should take about this time. It takes about double the time. It's always that way. So I'm curious to see what it'll do because, I mean, the car did feel better when I did the pit stop. So we'll see if it does now. This is the out lap. That's another thing, you know, when your fuel's down like that, then you can brake a little bit deeper if you got, you know, fresh tires. I mean, you got fresh tires, like a pit stop, and your fuel's half what it was. You should be able to brake a little deeper than you did when you had, you know, your full load of fuel. Oh, that's better. A lot better. Sloppy through there. right.
Red lane, personal fastest lap.
Let's go down and brake bias and see if that upsets the car. Right sides are still not where they need to be pressure-wise. I lost time there. A little bit of understeer. Oh, right near my delta. Right sides are still need to be come up a teeny bit. Yeah, lost about a tenth there. But still better. Still a lot better than what I was doing in the race by a long way. Now, see, now they've come up a little bit. That's kind of weird. Get some air blowing in here. Let's take a look at the. See, it's still 3 and 3 and 3 and 2. So, still not as tight as it could be. But I think it's pretty good. It feels pretty consistent. As far as just up to the driver. Again, I think I'm going to go one more here. One more there. these were up to 28, so I'm probably leaving them alone. But again, see, now the temperature is 25 and 27. So again, if it was like 23 or something, they'd probably be perfect. So again, I'll just leave those as it is. Let's look at the wear. I don't like graining on the front, but the wear is perfect. That's exactly how I like it. And especially this. It amazes me that we can do this, because in my older setups, this left front would constantly be worn more than the rear. I mean, always. I mean, way more. So now I actually have it to where it's wearing not as bad as the left rear. So that's really good for longer runs. I really like that. It should stay consistent. Again, if you can keep these two wearing near the same, you might lose grip. It'll be even. You won't get a major oversteer or understeer. That's the problem. Let's say you slide the rear and you're sliding the back end really bad and destroying the tires. Well, then what happens is you're wearing the rear so fast that now the front grips more than the rear, and now you're oversteering everywhere. So again, that's why it's so important in ACC to take care of your tires. And, again, my suggestion is the first lap, I mean, you can't win the race, but you can lose it. So again, have a little bit of reserve. Tires are cold. Everybody is, just getting going. You're in close quarters. Everybody just needs to, downshift a little bit and try to find a position. And I'm not saying not take a position if it's not there, but also know you can't be trying to set a fast lap on the first lap. It's just not going to happen. And unfortunately, a lot of people do that, and no matter what, whether it's LFM, competition server, a league, I'm sure, all those kinds of things. And you just got to let your tires get up to temperature, and then, get up your pressures and things like that, and then you can start pushing as you go and not go crazy in the very beginning. But I will make this a setup, and we'll go over this. Let's go again. We'll make some suggestions. I will make some suggestions. And remember, this is with the 83 liters, and of course we just did that with 40-something liters, and I wasn't running my personal best, but still, not far from it. So, and conditions aren't super cold or anything. So again, I think it's better than it was. And you see how long this took, and this is just making some adjustments, let alone doing a full setup from scratch. So let's watch the replay just to see what the attitude of the car is. See what the speed is down the straightaway. Again, I always do this because you can see the attitude. Is the car leaning a lot in the corners? Is it diving? Is it on the braking? Is it moving a lot? All kinds of things that you can take from that. We're so fortunate with a racing sim that has, especially good cameras and stuff for really 99% of the most part, that you can judge a lot of this stuff. Especially through here. Doesn't look too bad. Again, leans a little bit, but I mean, you want it to move a little bit. You don't want it to be so rigid that it doesn't move, but you also don't want it to move too much. Then you start losing your aero balance between front and rear. So again, these cars are meant to be very stiff. Moving a little bit is okay, but not that much. And again, that was 157. We'll check that again. That was blabbering. Just double check it. I don't know about you guys. Comment, feedback below. I mean, I love watching replays and stuff. It just looks so good. I never get tired of the graphics of ACC. 157. Yeah, that's good. That's respectable. That's up near the top. So that's a good thing, which is not the be-all, get-all, but it's a cherry on the top. Now, I remember before my fast lap coming out of the pits was a 159.24. So that's after I made a pit stop. And I actually had about the same amount, roughly near the same amount of fuel as I do now. So to me, it's a pretty good pretty good gain. Speed down here. Oh yeah, that's really good. Most cars, if they hit 150, that's about it. So that's hit 151, 152. That's really good. So again, see, a lot of it's just how well do you come out of the corners before that. So that's the thing. I mean, if you can make up some of that speed, you know, by coming out of the corners to get the drive down the straightaway. It looks a lot better going through turn one. It's not perfect by any means. 158.79 again. I think that's a lot better. I mean, that's like 4.5 tenths faster than what I did in the race. So that's what it needs. So again, I think we're good there, at least for right up to now. And again, the temperatures are actually higher than what they were in the race. They were lower. So again, that's another good thing. So again, I'm doing better, and the car just feels easier to drive. So it's a win-win for now. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I know it was a little longer than I'd said it would be, but I just trying to get us to where it gets to a good point. Please, your comment and feedback is really important, and you know, liking and subscribing really makes a difference. I know you hear that a lot from other YouTube channels, but it really does make a difference, especially for a small little channel like mine. And your comment and feedback, because a lot of that I go off, just like doing this, I go off of what videos I want to try to make and try to do to help you out. Now, my plan is, and tell me if you don't like it or not, but I want to do some more videos, different ones, maybe doing a whole setup, but doing some different cars, and so that way I can show some different things and different adjustments that you can make. Because again, some things are relevant to every car, but some things aren't. So again, it all depends on the car. So I want to go through some of them and see if you all like that or not, and see if we can make up some different setups at some different places. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. And again, I appreciate it, and I sure hope you come back and visit again really soon. Y'all take care. See ya.